Anyone fascinated by the natural world has probably wondered why some animals have such strange-looking sense organs. The elephant with its huge ears, the antennae of a butterfly, which up close look like feathers, the snake with its split tongue. And what about less obvious enhancements, like the sensory cells on a crocodile's skin? Surely these evolutionary traits aren't just for decoration. In fact, the size, shape, and location of these animal sense organs is all for a purpose. And just like us, animals rely on their senses to communicate with each other, find their way around, stay safe, and most importantly, to find food. When you see how superior some animal senses are compared to those of humans, you might wonder how we ever manage to stay on top of the food chain. Animal super senses. You won't believe what's possible.
Animals that live life on the wing have a vast expanse of sky to navigate, find mates, locate food, and avoid predators in. Living in this aerial realm requires a unique set of senses, specialized to cope with life above ground. In this episode of Super Senses, we find out more about when senses take flight and animals become masters of the sky. The speed and precision of a bird of prey captures our attention and leaves us awestruck. From a soaring height, they scan the ground for a pigeon-sized meal. Open grassland is perfect territory. To cope with searching a vast area, they need super sharp sight. The peregrine falcon, like most predators, has forward-facing eyes. Binocular vision helps in depth perception, essential to spot fast-moving food. Their eyes rely on several visual enhancements. Each eye has two fovea, dense areas of photoreceptors. Most animals only have one, but the peregrine falcon has a deep and shallow fovea. These clusters of light-sensitive nerve cells provide acute vision for viewing distant objects. Their favorite prey are medium-sized birds. They mark their target from a height of 1,500 meters. With a power stoop reaching speeds of over 300 kilometers per hour, such acceleration would cause eyes to dry out as wind evaporates the tear film. But a nictitating membrane, or third eyelid, clears the eye of debris, and a specialized gland at the base of the membrane secretes a solution that moistens the cornea and protects the eye during the breathtaking stoop. As an aerial sniper, the peregrine falcon is a sight to behold. When a meal is spotted, the predator stoops, with wings folded close to the body. It's the perfect shape for dive bombing. It strikes the pigeon with its talons, stunning it on impact, then turns to catch it in midair. If the prey is too heavy, the peregrine will drop to the ground, where it settles to pluck the feathers before feeding. With such formidable vision, the falcon's prey stands little chance of escape. The falcon's sharp vision is impressive, but there is another bird of prey that can beat it. The wedge-tailed eagle also has two fovea in each eye, but it has the advantage of size. It's Australia's largest bird of prey. The wedgie, as it's known, has the keenest vision of any animal, and their eyes, relative to body size, are huge. A 4.5 kilogram eagle may have eyes as big as a 90 kilogram human. Sporting a 2-meter-long wingspan, this raptor truly is Lord of the Skies. It takes flight with slow, deep wing beats, and once aloft, skillfully uses updrafts of thermals to reach heights of 2,000 meters. Such powerful wings are put to good use as it hunts by soaring above the open country looking for rabbits and wallabies. Once spotted, it dives down at speeds of more than 80 kilometers per hour, grabbing its unsuspecting prey with its formidable 7-centimeter-long talons. Big, beautiful, and predatory, birds of prey get our attention. Yet they share the sky with a much smaller winged hunter that could teach the raptors a lesson or two. Dragonflies, ancient aerial killers that seem dainty and ethereal, but don't be fooled by their delicate looks. New research suggests that the dragonfly may well be the most brutal and effective predators in the animal kingdom. With military precision and fighter pilot control, they rarely miss their insect prey, managing to snatch their targets in midair more than 95% of the time. They don't even stop to finish one meal, stuffing their mouths full of meat while moving on to catch the next victim. They can fly backwards, change direction in midair, and hover for up to 1 minute. What makes the dragonfly such an effective hunter? Dragonflies have multifaceted or compound eyes and, along with bees, have the largest eyes of any insect. The dragonfly sees the world in a mosaic. They have more light-sensitive proteins, called opsins, and this allows them to see colors that are beyond human visual capabilities, such as ultraviolet light. But that's not all. The light-sensitive proteins are segregated in the compound eye, with the upward-facing part only having blue and UV receptors. It's thought it gives a special advantage to hunting dragonflies, as the sky appears to be very bright, providing a clear background against which their small, moving prey can be more easily detected. Another advantage of having a multifaceted eye is the dragonfly's acute sensitivity to movement. Their supersense eyes make the dragonfly the stone-cold serial killer of the skies. Each autumn, millions of monarch butterflies fly about 3,000 kilometers from the eastern United States to central and southern Mexico to spend the winter. The monarch's migration is one of the most spectacular sights in nature. Past research has shown the winged travelers navigate using the sun, but the question remained, how do they manage to stay on course during cloudy days? The answer lay, once again, in the ultraviolet realm of the sky. This time, the UV light wasn't providing the direction, but acted as a switch to trigger a magnetic compass located in the butterfly's antennae. Researchers have found that light-sensitive molecules in the antennae are turned on by ultraviolet light, the wavelength that peaks during summer. Because UV light can penetrate clouds and reach the butterfly's receptors, even on overcast days, their inbuilt GPS can kick in. This magnetic compass may serve as a backup navigation system to keep the butterflies on track when they can't see the sun. So we have super senses, like ultraviolet and polarized light, that help airborne animals find food and navigate their way. They are all about what can be seen of the wide blue sky that animals can use. But what about the other senses? The sense of smell responds to airborne chemicals, but in the expanse of sky, are the molecules too dispersed? Modern birds are known more for their flying abilities and their sense of vision and balance than for their sense of smell. But some bird species still rely on smell to search for food or navigate over large areas. And recent research suggests that they may have inherited this from the dinosaurs. New World vultures, like the black vulture, live in the warm and temperate areas of the Americas. It is a typical scavenger, feeding on dead and decaying flesh. And it soars high above the ground, looking for its next meal. But it doesn't have a particularly sensitive nose. Instead, This clever bird keeps a keen eye on the activities of its New World cousin, the turkey vulture. Turkey vultures can be seen circling effortlessly high in the sky. They are easily recognized by their red, featherless heads. But the turkey vulture's real claim to fame is as one of the few birds in the world that have a super sense of smell. Experts estimate that they can detect the scent of rotting flesh in concentrations as tiny as a few parts per billion in the air, and are able to sniff out a dead critter more than a mile away. While gliding in the sky, they track plumes of foul, sulfurous odors from decaying animals and home in on it by flying in circles. Watching closely is the black vulture, lacking in the sense of smell department, but smart enough to watch the turkey vultures find the food, and then follow when the time is right. Birds and insects are renowned for their aerial ability, but mammals have only one representative capable of powered flight, and that's the bat. Like other animals, their senses are adapted to deal with life above ground. The saying, "being blind as a bat," simply isn't true. The bat world is made up of microbats and megabats. Microbats hunt for insects at night using echolocation, and yes, their eyes are small. But the bigger megabats have larger eyes. They don't echolocate, but forage at night for nectar and fruit, which they find with their acute sense of sight and smell. The forward-facing eyes of flying foxes are adapted for searching for light-colored fruit and flowers at night. Flying foxes see well during the day, too. Their daytime roosts are in large open treetops, very visible to passing predators. Having excellent eyesight means they can keep a lookout for enemies. The sense of smell also plays an important part in finding food for fruit bats. They sniff out the ripest fruit with the strongest odor, and cluster figs are a favorite. Flying foxes are very good climbers. Using their wrists and thumb claw to grip, they crawl across branches to forage. Their teeth are adapted to their diet, with canines that pierce and flatten molars to crush the fruit. But flying foxes don't eat the fruit whole. The tongue is used to press the pulp against the hard ridges of the palate to extract all the juice, which is swallowed, and then the fibrous part is spat out. The tongue is lined with small projections called papillae and covered with taste buds. Flying fox tongues are so specialized, with different types of papillae and taste buds reflecting feeding behavior, that each species can be identified by tongue morphology alone. Smell also plays a role in social interactions. Secretions from the bat's shoulder glands are spread over the body while grooming, and smell is used to recognize each other. Males rub their scent onto tree branches in the colony to mark a territory and to attract passing females. With their acute senses of sight and smell, fruit bats are able to live a sky-high life. In the desert of Australia's interior, thousands of pelicans seem to miraculously appear at a vast saltwater lake. It is a wonder of the Australian outback. Most of the time, the lake is bone dry and has little to sustain life. It's the last place you would think to find a water bird. But every decade or so, floodwaters turn it into an inland sea, teeming with microscopic animals that feed fish. And the fish-eating pelicans follow. It's here the lakes support 10,000 pelicans breeding a new generation. But these nomads of the sky have traveled across the vast interior to reach the fish-filled waters from the coast. How do thousands of pelicans know when to fly hundreds of kilometers to inland waters? What cues are they detecting? Bird talk, inbuilt magnetic compasses, and the ability to hear vibrations from long distances are just three theories which try to explain why the birds migrate when they do, but there's no evidence. Experts think the birds may be using riverbeds as route maps, but that doesn't explain what triggers the flight. So the mystery of the lake ear pelicans continues to baffle scientists. The senses are the stars of animal supersenses, and this episode has been no exception. We've discovered animals use a range of senses to cope with life in the clouds. Given the distance and vast openness of the skies, animals make the most of what the aerial realm has to offer, and human abilities pale in comparison. So join us next time on Super Senses to find out more incredible powers of animal perception.